We're back with Mr. Lee Zlotoff, who is the man behind the iconic MacGyver. And we left off on the humor and humility, finding the resources. How does one find the tools, or how can they create their solution?
Yeah, so it turns out that, and I'll tell you how I discovered this, but it turns out that we have extraordinary resources inside of us that we're generally not aware of. And I discovered this because when I was writing for television, I had to come up with an enormous amount of creative material under unbelievably tight deadlines. And the best stuff always seemed to come to me when I was driving or taking a shower, not when I was, pounding my head against my keyboard. And I asked myself, well, why is that? And because it was fairly persistent. And the answer was, because when you're driving or taking a shower, your conscious mind, that part of you when you wake up in the morning that just runs with a hamster wheel of thoughts all day long until you're finally too exhausted to keep going and fall asleep. Okay. It turns out that is not really the most creative part of your mind. It's actually what we call either your subconscious or your inner MacGyver. And so when you're doing something like driving or taking a shower, and that conscious mind really has to pay attention to what you're doing, even though taking a shower is kind of second nature. Driving, once you know how to drive, you know how to drive, but you still have to pay attention to the car in front of you, how fast you're going, when you need to turn, and in the shower, you don't want to get water up your nose, soap in your eyes, you don't want to slip and fall. And so when your conscious mind is busy, it allows that inner MacGyver or subconscious to say, hey, Lee, the story you've been looking for, here it is. And you go, what? Wait, who's talking to me? Where's that coming from? But the truth is, we've all had that experience in some sense. And so I sat down, I used to, when I was in Hollywood writing in an office at a studio, and I'd get jammed up, I'd jump in my car and drive around Hollywood looking for a shower. This got a little embarrassing, because they went, where is this guy going, and how come he comes back freshly showered all the time? He's like, what is that about? And I went, okay, is there another way to reproduce this? And it turned out that there was. And so I eventually was encouraged by a friend of mine who used this method that I developed to actually launch an internet company. And he came to me and he said, you got to put this out there. I said, no. He said, no, this is not just about creative writing. This is about problem solving. And so I ultimately wrote a book called The MacGyver Secret: Connect to Your Inner MacGyver and Solve Anything. And it's a very simple 3-step process, which is how to communicate directly with that inner MacGyver, that subconscious, that enormous inner resource that we all have and so rarely take advantage of. And it's really, I'll give it to you really quick, it's really simple. You write down whatever question or problem you have in longhand, better than typing. The neuroscientists can tell you why, but you write down the problem, and then rather than stand there and rack your brain, you just say to yourself, you're going to work on that problem, inner MacGyver subconscious. I'm going to go do something else. When I come back, you're going to have an answer for me. And then you can go do one of hundreds of activities: driving, showering, gardening, cooking, cleaning, practicing a musical instrument, any form of physical exercise, take the dog for a walk, whatever you want to do, but something that is physical and keeps that conscious mind occupied so it can't get in the way, because actually it does more to get in the way of solving the problem than not. And then you come back after that amount of time, could be an hour, could be 4 hours, could be a day. You look at that question, you say to that inner self, okay, what's the answer? And then you just start writing, and it absolutely does not matter what you write. You could write the Star Spangled Banner, you could write what you want to have for dinner. You just simply start the act of writing, and within like 30 seconds, 45 seconds, the answers will simply flow out of you right through the tip of your pen. And it works because that hidden subconscious part of you, it's trying to talk to you all day long. Your head is just so busy with thoughts, you can't hear it.
It's phenomenal.
So there you go.
That's...
And
I typically drive and I listen to a lot of music when I drive. Is that count, or do I need to be in silence?
No, music is fine.
So I can listen.
You can listen to music, and in and of itself, it's not an incubation activity. If you're running and listening to music or driving and listening to music, that's fine. It will not get in the way of your subconscious solving your problem.
So you were, I think I remember hearing that you would actually build these like town houses or like town villages.
Oh, right. So, okay. So instead of running around Hollywood looking for showers, I put a workbench in my office and a whiteboard, and they would say, okay, Lee, the network just threw out the last story. We shoot in a week. We don't even have a story, much less a script. You got to go in that office and come up with a story for the next episode. So instead of freaking out, I would just go in my office and write on my whiteboard, what's a good idea for a new episode? And then rather than rack my brain, I would go to that workbench and I built models, paper models, like, you know, build the Empire State Building out of paper. I built every monument they had a kit for. I built the Taj Mahal. I built the Statue of Liberty. I built the Brooklyn Bridge. Nobody needs a Brooklyn Bridge made out of paper, trust me, okay? But it had the exact same effect as the driving and the showering did, which is it kept my conscious mind occupied on that goofy model, and after working on the model for a half hour, 45 minutes, I go back to the whiteboard and I'd say, okay guys, you were the ones with all the great ideas. What do you have for me? And then I just start writing on the board, and the ideas would just flow out of me.
So amazing.
And it enabled me to move very quickly through Hollywood and rise to the top, because I could just create stuff literally on demand. But the point is, anyone can do that. I'm not really that special, and that's why I wrote this book. And you can buy it on Amazon, or you know, I think we have an audio version now too, and Kindle version, all that good stuff. But it's a very thin book. A trip or two to the bathroom, it's all yours. Okay.
Well, we almost need to go to another commercial break. I'm still, just before we go though, I just want to get the final information I want on this. So if I write down something as simple, so we do a lot of like sponsors, advertising, you know, and if I write on the whiteboard how to get the contract with X company, that's something I would write.
Yep.
I would go, does it matter the time? Is it like, can I do it in 5 minutes? Can I go do my puzzle piecing for 5 minutes, or do I need to do like 45 minutes?
Well, when you're first starting out, most people need a minimum, I usually say a minimum of an hour, maybe 4 hours. I've been doing this for 40 years, so it takes me 5 minutes or 10 minutes. So I'll write a question on my whiteboard at my office at home, and then I'll go in and I'll start washing the dishes, and 10 minutes later, it'll go, here, Lee, here's the answer. And I go, I'm in the middle of doing something. He said, hey, you asked, you know? And it's like, but like any other muscle, the more you use it, the better it gets. The more you develop that dialogue with yourself, the faster it comes back to you with answers. Right away, when you first try this, no, it's going to take a little while. But the more you do it, like, you know, the more you run, the better your tone gets, the faster you can go, the better your times get, you know, all that kind of stuff. It's like any other muscle. The more you use it, you know, the faster it responds.
Wow, I bet your wife was really excited when you read MacGyver. She'd come home and you were just cleaning, doing laundry, and the place was just spotless.
I do all the cooking, and you know, she loves it, so.
All right, well, we'll be right back after this break, everyone. Stay tuned. Hey guys, what's up? I'm Colt Balok, and this is Mitchell Hogue.
Hogue.
Hogue?
Hogue.
Hogue.
On the Colt Balok Show.
You can watch me.